If the stories are to be believed, this is the land of the undead.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're looking at haunted, eerie towns and villages across the UK.
Murderous screams are heard and people have ran from here in absolute terror.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Number 10. Borley, Essex.
At the end of the garden, they saw a figure, its head bowed as if in prayer.
This village near the larger town of Sudbury isn't so spooky anymore, but 100 years ago, it was home to Britain's most haunted building, Borley Rectory. There had been religious buildings on the site for centuries, which led to some of the building's most famous ghost stories about a nun that haunts the property.
They described more voices, footsteps, and servant bells ringing of their own accord.
The legend says that this nun, after being caught having an affair with a monk, was bricked up alive and left to die. It's not remotely true, as years of subsequent historical research have shown, but the stories eventually led to renowned paranormal investigator Harry Price having a look around.
Harry and the reporter had a narrow escape from a flying candlestick.
He came back repeatedly, even after most of the rectory was destroyed in a fire in the 1940s. Number 9. Cricket St Thomas, Somerset. There are no famous ghosts reported in Cricket St Thomas. Instead, the town's most famous cryptid-esque citizen is Mr. Blobby.
Come and see us at Crinkly Bottom at Cricket St Thomas near Chard in Somerset.
Somerset became the site of the first of Noel Edmonds' 3 Crinkly Bottom theme parks in the 1990s. Not wanting the northerners to be left out, another Crinkly Bottom was quickly built at Morecambe, Lancashire.
Visit Mr. Blobby's house. See the wonderful wildlife parkland. Enjoy family fun in Blobbyland.
Today, both of these two remain overgrown and abandoned in the middle of the countryside, though the third site in Pleasurewood Hill, Suffolk, had its Blobby branding removed after only a year and remains operational today. Mr. Blobby's house in the Somerset Park was demolished in 2014, apparently because people were having raves there. Number 8. Whitby, North Yorkshire.
We're here on the 125th anniversary of the publication of this book, Dracula.
To this day, Whitby is known the world over as the home of Dracula. In the novel, after leaving Transylvania, Dracula finally reaches British shores at Whitby, beneath the ruins of Whitby Abbey. While there, he torments one of the novel's most memorable characters, Lucy Westenra, until eventually turning her into a vampire as well. Today, Whitby wears its gothic credentials on its sleeve, with tourist shops full of macabre gifts and offerings, not to mention the abbey itself, if you brave its infamous stone steps. It also hosts the massively popular Whitby Goth Weekend each year.
10,000 Goths and others of differing cultural persuasions come here.
But even today, it remains isolated on the coast and relatively poorly served by public transport, and the atmosphere remains eerie on a misty winter's night. Number 7. Woolpit, Suffolk.
It was 1173, an especially eerie year when the small village of Woolpit in the county of Suffolk was invaded by creatures from another world. Indeed.
What do you think the oldest extraterrestrial incident in British history is? If you guessed Rendlesham Forest, you're wrong. Though, interestingly, that's also in Suffolk. In reality, one event that has a strong claim on being Blighty's first alien encounter is the appearance of the Green Children of Woolpit, all the way back in the 12th century.
One day, 2 aliens appeared in the village. These aliens had taken the form of 2 children, a boy and a girl, but their skin was bright green.
The children allegedly had green skin and spoke in an indecipherable language, with no parents to be found. Nobody's too sure where the story came from, though Horrible Histories has some ideas.
It turned out that these children were not from Mars or Venus. They were from Belgium.
Regardless, the children can still be seen in Woolpit, including on the village sign. They've also served as the inspiration for countless novels. Number 6. Imber, Wiltshire. There's nothing supernatural about Imber, a little village in Wiltshire that's been uninhabited since the 1940s. Instead, this creepy, derelict village was ordered to be abandoned by the British Army so that it could become part of a training area for urban warfare, which hardly seems pleasant. The army slowly brought all the land surrounding the village and then, in 1943, ordered everybody to evacuate within 47 days. They were never allowed back, with the buildings that were once their homes being subjected to gunfire, grenades, and other military drills. You can still visit occasionally, and the village church, St. Giles, hosts a service every year. But when it's not one of those days visitors are allowed, you won't be able to get near. Number 5. Bodmin, Cornwall.
This building was once dark, damp, rat-infested, full of misery, pain and death.
Bodmin Moor has a great many local legends, but most of its ghost stories center around Bodmin Jail, a nightmarish building that still dominates the town's skyline. It's now partly a museum, but also partly a hotel, so you too can stay in rooms once occupied by rats and criminals awaiting their executions.
From murderers to those who saw it fit to steal a cow, each perpetrator met with the same agonizing fate. But how many victims retained their grudge?
Further out from Bodmin, and on the moorland proper, you'll find Jamaica Inn, made famous by the Daphne du Maurier novel by the same name.
The inn's isolated location made it a popular stop for smugglers.
It's got plenty of alleged hauntings and strange occurrences, and was even once home to an enormous collection of taxidermy animals. It's no surprise that both these buildings got their own episodes of Most Haunted.
This is the original bar, and it's said that a young man was lured from here many years ago and murdered on the moor.
Number 4. Pendle Hill, Lancashire.
This coven was consequently exposed and blamed for the murders of several locals, and a groundswell of accusations appearing to seal their fate.
Though Pendle Hill itself isn't a town, it's surrounded by a handful of small towns and villages that were all part of the infamous Pendle witch trials in the early 17th century. The small village of Newchurch is thought to have been where Malkin Tower was, a building where the alleged witches once gathered before being arrested and ultimately executed.
They're believed to have been witches, they're believed to have cast spells on people, murdered people.
Roughly in fence are other villages in the area that have been touched by the witches, with some having monuments to them. There's also a Pendle Heritage Centre you can visit in Barrowford, or indeed you can visit Pendle Hill itself, which was the subject of numerous lurid Most Haunted investigations. People gather there to remember the witches each Halloween.
Some say some of their victims still roam this area. Tall, dark shapes have been seen walking around this building, and screams are often heard when there was no one there.
Number 3. Pluckley, Kent.
Among Pluckley's local landmarks are Devil's Bush, Fright Corner, and Screaming Woods.
It once held the Guinness World Record for being the most haunted village in Britain, until somebody at Guinness apparently thought better of giving out world records for something almost totally made up.
As far as villages go, this has got the most, undoubtedly the most haunted village in England.
Despite having its award revoked though, Pluckley remains infamously haunted, with at least 12 well-known ghosts. The ghosts are practically residents, given names like the Red Lady, the Watercress Woman, and even Robert Dubois, a highwayman murdered in the aptly named Screaming Woods. The village has no shortage of macabre legends and mysterious local deaths.
But can there really be two white ladies, a red lady and a monk, roaming through Pluckley?
But Pluckley's location in rural Kent means it's actually a very pleasant place to spend some time on a hot summer's day. Number 2. Hagley, Worcestershire. In 1943, a group of local boys making mischief in the woods just outside of Hagley found the remains of a woman inside a tree. It was believed she died in 1941, but the woman's identity, or who murdered her, have never been determined. Mysteriously though, in 1944, ominous graffiti began to appear in and around Hagley, usually asking the question, who put Bella down the witch elm, or a variation of it. This opened a new line of investigation, with police assuming that someone nearby knew who she was and that her name was Bella, but still nothing came of it. Chillingly, the graffiti continues to appear to this day, though the murder has remained unsolved. Theories range from her being an accused witch to a German spy. Number 1. Eyam, Derbyshire.
Here, more than 3 centuries ago, residents infected with the Black Plague took the heroic decision to seal themselves off to prevent the disease from spreading to other communities.
Widely known as the Plague Village, Eyam willingly quarantined itself during the 1665 plague outbreak when it spread from London up to Derbyshire through some infested cloth. The village's historic sacrifice has made it famous, with supplies left on the outskirts for the survivors while the plague was allowed to ravage them.
In Eyam, Derbyshire, the memory of lives lost centuries ago is motivating a response in the present.
Many of the artifacts from Eyam's plague days, including its boundary stone where money was left for merchants, have been preserved to this day. Interestingly though, there's been some historical pushback recently about whether the popular version of the village's pestilent history is entirely accurate, though we'll likely never know for sure. We also don't know precisely how many people died, though it was certainly a few hundred.
These are the names of long-dead villagers who, 350 years ago, became infected with plague.
Let us know the creepiest small towns in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland in the comments below.